started then. Welcome everybody to Redgate Code Club, Redgate Kids Coding Club, that's the one, in association with Code Club. And if you're wanting to find any other things to do, then or find your own local club, then go to codeclub.org. They've done most of the work here in preparing them and the Raspberry Pi Foundation in preparing all of the projects. So this week, we're going to be working on Create Your Own World. In this project, we'll learn how to create our own adventure game world with multiple levels to explore. There's a tutorial, which we'll be following, and a starter link. Sophie's going to post both of those in the chat.
Yep, they should already be in there.
Brilliant. And the things we're going to learn today, apart from how to make another awesome game, we're going to learn about changing backdrops on the stage. We're going to learn about, what's that say, Alex?
Say block.
Yep, say block, how to display messages. We're going to learn about using variables to keep track of where we are in the game. Coders call that the state of the game.
The game state.
Make code act differently, conditionally, based on the game state, and how to use lists to store data if we get that far. We might not get that far in this session. So let's stop sharing the presentation and instead share.
Sharing Scratch.
Where's Scratch gone? There it is. We're going to share this and we're not doing this. Okay. So let's go to that starter project link.
Let's just wait for it to load.
Let it load.
Loading space. This one.
And the first thing you're going to want to do if you're following along from that starter project and you're signed in is click the remix button
to make it your own.
To make it your own project. Okay.
Letter.
Shall I get onto the next page of the tutorial, Alex, so you know where we're going?
Oh, yeah. This page of the tutorial. Okay.
Right. So the first thing we want to do with our game is to make our blue player block move around as we press the keys. Now we did something like this in the last session. I know what to do.
Yes.
Well, we always start with, isn't it?
I know.
So when the green flag is clicked.
And then a forever.
Our old friend, the forever loop.
And then an if.
An if.
What? Why didn't it come out? There you go.
So that's our set of conditions to start with.
Sensing.
We want to know if a key is pressed.
Key space pressed. But we don't want it to be space pressed. We want it to be up arrow.
So if the up arrow is pressed, what are we going to do?
We're going to go into
motion,
yep.
Point in the right direction. So find the point in direction block.
Direction.
And click on that. We're going to go up, don't we? So drag it up. There we go.
It's 0.
And move by 5. So move 5 steps.
But if you want it slower, you can do 4.
The tutorial says 4, but we like it a bit faster, don't we, Alex?
It's annoying me. I don't like this keyboard and this thing.
Move 5 steps. Right, do you want to try it?
Yep. Up we go, but we can't.
Oh no, you can't move down or left or right. Okay, so shall we try and add all of the other ones?
I know what to do. I know what we can do. We can do.
You're going to do duplicate. Right click.
Duplicate.
And click on duplicate.
Then you change this from up arrow
to
down arrow and change the pointing direction to 180. Then you put this in and you duplicate this one. Okay. Then you change this from down arrow, right arrow, and change this.
Slower, slower. You're going a bit fast. Right arrow and move that to the right. Still move 5 steps.
So all we've been doing is just been duplicating it over and over again.
Yeah.
Then right mouse click and we duplicate this block.
So how are you doing that duplicate again, Alex?
We're just right-clicking and clicking duplicate.
That's
but we don't need to because we've got 4.
Okay.
This one needs to be pointing in that direction of 190 and the key.
Left. So that's the left arrow. Make it
left.
We
don't need this one.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, this is right arrow.
Right. Put that in.
And the last one goes dunk. Now let's test it out. No, why am I moving? Oh, there you go. I can't move. Down cross.
Hang on.
It's not
Click in the
working.
right place.
It's not working. Why isn't it
That's
working?
because you've got these if blocks inside rather than one after the other.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So now you can move it around.
Okay.
So a quick recap of what we've done there, Alex. You want to sort what we've done through? So we've got 4 blocks that all look the same inside the forever.
But just with different.
Okay, so can I just talk through each one?
Okay, can I?
Or do you want to do it?
I want to say something.
Okay, what do you want to say, Alex?
The thing is, normally with these sorts of games, you start up, when you start it, you'd be right here, like at the start.
Uh-huh. So are
and
you
whenever
saying...
we stop and we restart, we're back at where we were.
Okay, so you're saying you want to reset the position at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Can you think how to do
I
that?
could pass through the wall too.
Let's worry about passing through the wall later. You want to do your reset position first?
Yes, so we need
How are you going to do that?
Go to X da and X la. It's good.
At the top. So X minus 200.
200. No, not 2,000.
And Y 0. You can just type when it's highlighted. There we go. So now when you hit the flag, it will start.
And I stop it and I start it
back in that centre.
Okay. Why can't, I don't want to pass through the wall anyway.
Right, so what are we going to do about the wall, Alex? So we've done moving.
We need to get stuck.
We need to make the wall so you can't move through it. We've done something a bit like that before. Can you remember how we do that?
I think I know.
So after all of our moving keys, we want to do if we're touching the wall.
Okay, we need another if.
Yes, we do.
Why did it...
If, right at the end, after there, that's it. And then where is touching the wall?
Sensing.
Touching colour.
But it does not need to be purple.
Not purple, so you click, show everybody where you clicked because they can't see where it's
clicked the
right in the
colour.
middle of the colour. And then click on that.
The drip, drop, dip, dop.
That dropper.
The drip, drop, dip,
And
dop.
choose the colour. Okay.
And then that is the colour.
Click off.
Then we want it. What do we want to do, Daddy?
What do we do when we're touching the colour?
You move backward 5 steps.
Yeah. So move minus 5 steps. Now, let's have a think about how this works, shall we?
So I'm just going to see. I'm going to charge full speed into the wall.
Start, Alex.
I clicked on. Full speed. Now, let me throw. Let me throw.
Okay.
Let me throw. What? Why isn't it doing it? I'm not passing.
Okay. So you can't get through the wall.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
Let's not worry about it.
That's alright.
So what's happening here is if the key's pressed, we're moving, but if we hit the wall, we move back the way we came. What does that mean? That means that whichever direction we were moving, we move back, and it's like we haven't moved through the wall at all. So we make it so we can't move through the wall.
But you probably could if you found a way. Because when I was doing this before, I found a way to pass through it.
Ah, I know why.
Why? Why? Why isn't it working?
Okay, doesn't matter. So moving on. Hopefully everybody's got their code working like that, so now their player can't move through the walls. Everybody all right, Sophie? Any questions on the chat so far?
I think at the moment we're okay. Just a couple of people asking if we could slow down slightly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So just going through everything we've done so far to help to let everybody catch up. So we're on our player sprite. Do you want, Alex, shall we talk through the code that we've got here? So at the beginning we do, when you click on the start, go to our start position. So that's it, go to X. And then our old friend, the forever loop. And 4 times in here, we have an if a key is pressed. Can I just show everybody?
I'm in the wall.
Ah, you found the way through the wall.
No, but you can't go through it. It just it pushes you back up. It pushes you back up.
There's an interesting bug, isn't there? We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so what we've done is if the key up arrow is pressed, then you point up, point in direction upwards, and move 5. Then if the down arrow is pressed, we point in direction down and move 5. And then if right is pressed, we point in direction 9 and move 5.
Look, I did it.
You managed to get on the wall.
See, I'm in the wall. That's really cool.
Okay.
I like going in there. The wall's nice. The wall's comfy.
But we shouldn't be able to do that. And we did figure out why that was happening, but there's some interesting debugging to do here. Because what happens is if you've got 2 keys pressed at once,
It has to go through both of those before it can stop.
it manages to move twice into the wall in 2 different directions, and you can get yourself in the wall.
Dad, I know what to do.
There we go.
I know what to do. You need to be above it, actually. It's not what you think. It's actually you fighting it. You go down and then you go across, and it fights against it. See, it pushes me out.
Yeah, because we've got the wall detection code at the end here, but it's done all of the moving code first. And what we really want it to do is only do 1 move before it gets into the wall detection code.
Do we need an if else?
We do. We need to make sure that it only does 1 of these conditions before it gets to this condition.
Oh, it's going to be some hard work.
So we're going to pull all of these things out and replace them with an if else, which says do this thing, otherwise do a different thing. So we'll start with our if the up arrow is pressed. From there, we can still do the same point in direction up and move 5. Then inside the else,
You put an if else.
we're going to put another if else in and do one of our other direction move codes.
Do down.
Down.
Down the next. Then we
And then do the same again.
Another if else.
If the right arrow is pressed,
You go blah blah blah.
we're going to put move right in here. And last one, we don't need an if else. We could just take the whole if inside here. If left is
That's a
pressed.
lot of code in one big block.
So that's a bit more complicated to see what's going on here, but there's a bunch of nested, that's called if and else's. And then we do, right at the end of all of that, just before we go back into our forever loop, our wall detection code. So let's get rid of some of these extras that we don't need anymore. What happens now? Can you go through the wall now? Hopefully everybody can see that code and
Look,
follow
when
what
I
we
go
did.
up, it just goes up. So maybe I can actually. No, I can't. I can't.
So you can't get through
I
that
can't.
wall anymore.
Yay! Now I want to go to the next. Let me go through the next wall.
We haven't done that bit of the game yet.
Somebody has asked, could you just do wall detection first and then only if not wall, then go into the previous ifs? That makes sense.
Yes. The only problem you'd have is that you'd move backwards and it would be difficult to know what direction you'd move. But I think that would still work. So yeah, that would be another way to do it. The nice thing about coding is that there are lots of different ways to solve the same problem, and you can try it out and try and test and see what works. So if you've used that
Let me
approach,
to the
that's
next
also good.
room door. This is a door. I meant to be able to pass through it.
Now, David has said that David and Siona are saying that only if it's not the wall, then go into the movements, and you wouldn't have a need to move backwards. Nobody else can see this chat, can they? Because it's only going to us. So me explaining it's not going to help. So David and Siona, the only problem you'd have there is if you didn't move backwards, you'd end up touching the wall and stuck and not able to move anymore. Right. Let's move on to the next piece of the tutorial, because hopefully everybody's up to speed there. What we want to do is be able to move into different rooms. So do you want to show everybody? Hang on, Alex, can you follow what I'm doing?
Let me see the other one.
You're going to show the other rooms. So click on the stage.
And where's our code gone?
And
See,
then
because we're on
on the top left is something that says backdrops, and you'll see that
Level
we
1.
have 3 different rooms.
Level 2 and level 3.
Okay. So go back to room 1.
Go back to level 1. Look, you can see where our character is. Our character doesn't move.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
Okay. Keep it on room 1 and go back to code now. So that's just showing everybody what we've got in the backdrops. Go on to the player code again. Now the first thing we want is a variable to keep track of what room we're in.
Do we go into
Let's
variables?
do this a bit slowly because this one always catches people out where this is hidden. So what did you click on to find this? You clicked on variables on the left.
Variables, under operators and above my blocks.
Yeah, and then you're going to do...
Because some people just do my blocks.
Yeah, then you're going to do make a variable. And we're going to call this room.
You can call it level.
You could call it level, but we're going to call it room.
Room.
There's too many O's there, Alex.
No, there's no such thing as too many O's.
So new variable
Ooh.
called room, and this is for all sprites. There we go. So now we can see that there. What we want to happen is when the player touches that orange door, we go into the next room.
But we need to set the room to 1 because we're in room 1, not room 0.
Oh, you're right. So we do that at the beginning then.
Then we just go set room.
So in variables again, we've got set room. I'll put that just here. This is another initialization code. Set room to 1.
Juan.
Okay, so we start in room 1.
Juan.
Now, we want to do another if touching color here, don't we? For when we touch the door. You remember how to do that, Alex?
If touching code.
Some more code at the bottom here. Control.
Oh yeah, control.
Control block for right here.
Another if below this. This is a very tall one. I'm gonna have to move this up for a
Well, we've
sec.
got some scroll bars on the side.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, don't use your mouse wheel because that will confuse everybody. So it's sensing, touching color. Click on there. Click on the eyedropper again and find the orange color for the door. Okay, click off there.
Then we go.
What do we do if we're touching the color?
No.
Right, Alex, we have to use words now, okay? Because otherwise people can't understand what we're doing.
Looks, and we go. Into,
So we're going into looks,
and we go down to
and we want
next
to switch the
backdrop.
backdrop.
To next
Backdrop. So should we use the switch backdrop because we're going to do the same thing later. So switch backdrop. But instead of always going to room 3, we want to go to the next backdrop, which is here. So if we touch orange, we go to the next backdrop. But let's run this and show what happens.
Let me get those.
We should just go to the second room.
Let's see. But it's still, we're not in room 1.
We've actually, there's two things that have happened. We've actually ended up in the last room because we stayed in that same place. So we were still touching the orange. If we look at, let's not worry. If we look at backdrops again, room 2 has another orange door. And we ended up on that as well.
So we need to go to 200 again.
We need to change our position back, don't we? Backdrops, room 1. So once we're back on the player code, once we switch to the next backdrop, we need to move the player's position back over here where we started. So at the top you can see.
Let's just copy the record.
We could duplicate that block. No, I think that would duplicate everything. Let's do a new motion. Go to
blah 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 blah.
X. Remember what that position was?
Minus 200.
Minus 200 and Y0 is in the middle. So do you want to try it again? Let's leave that code on screen so everyone can see it. There we go, now you're in room 2.
Now let's go to room. But the rooms aren't changing. It says we're still in room 1,
the room
not
variable
room
isn't
2.
changing. You're right, we're going to need to do that too, aren't we?
I
Just
know
show
what we
everybody,
need to
just
do.
show everybody going into the next room as well.
Oh no, I want to get back, but I can't get back. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. I'm stuck.
So we also want to change that room variable, don't we? Which is in variables, change room by 1.
Why can't I just say Juan?
We can stop and start again. Oh, we don't reset back to the start room, so we can't get back. The variable changes, but we haven't actually changed what room we're in. So there's one more thing we need to do in this initialization code, isn't there?
We need to go to room 1.
We need to change the backdrop again, which is in looks. Scrolling down here, switch backdrop to room
1.
right.
1.
There we go.
Let's see, now can I go? Blah, 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 blah. I need to find the treasure. Is there
Room
any
2.
treasure? There's probably not going to be any treasure. Why am I looking for this treasure? Okay, there's no treasure. I'm just going to stop playing the game. Whoa.
No, don't hit those things, Alex.
Yeah.
It's all my controls at the top. Okay. So let's talk through this code again if anybody needs to catch up. Right at the start, we go to our starting position, which is -200, 0, which is over here. And we set the room variable to 1, and we switch the backdrop to room 1 as well. Then we have our forever loop with the keyboard movement. So we listen, we check whether each of the keys is pressed and move in the right direction. Then we've got some touching colours detection. So this is wall detection, which moves us backwards. This is the door, the orange door detection, which goes to the next backdrop.
Slow down.
Yeah, it's all right, I've seen that. And then we go to our starting position again and change the room up by 1. Now, Alex, I'm going to let you figure this next piece out.
Okay.
Your next challenge is to do the same again, but when you hit the yellow
I
door.
know what to do. This is easy,
Okay,
easy,
but you
Daddy.
need to explain it to everybody.
Oh.
When you hit the yellow door, you want to move backwards.
Oh, that's need F.
So find your if. We're going to do another if touching colour, aren't we? Under here.
Why is this so long?
It's a lot of code in this game. Okay, if
Sensing.
sensing,
If sensing. Yeah, that's one. If sensing.
touching colour.
Touching colour.
This is for the yellow door, so click on that again. And
There
use
you
your
go.
eyedropper.
Rip, dop, dip, dop.
Find the yellow. Ooh, click on the yellow, so the circle goes yellow, that's it.
Then we want to
What do we want to do now?
look.
It looks.
And we go to switch back, drop to room 3. Switch back room, drop
Previous.
to 3. Roundabout.
No, let's do
That would be funny if
That
you
would be
like
quite funny.
appeared and
So we're doing the reverse of what we've done here, aren't we? So
basically going da, 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 da.
Yeah,
Oh,
can
I'm
you-
at the end. I'm just gonna go zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, but I
Okay.
don't go to
Could-
the orange.
don't
one.
get distracted by the game. Could we finish the
No,
code?
no, Dad.
Yes, I know,
Something's
Alex. I
happened.
know. We're going to finish the code.
We need to teleport to.
So we're doing the reverse of what we did for the orange door. So what other things did we do? We need to change our position again, don't we? So that when you
We
come
need to
back
go
through the
to-
door,
I
you
know-
start
I
on the
know what I
right-hand
need to
side.
do. Okay, let's just stop it. I'm just stopping.
So do motion.
Motion.
Go to, and then we do plus 200.
No, just 200. It's
Okay,
not plus.
all
You
right.
don't put a plus on it.
All right, positive
No,
200,
not 2000.
not negative. And still at Y0. So that means that when you go back through the yellow door, what side will we start?
It's lazy there, but no.
We'll start on the right-hand side, won't we? And there's one more thing in this code. Alex, there's one more thing in the code that you've forgotten.
What?
When you see the variable, what's going to happen when you go back?
It's gonna go up. It's gonna go
Oh no, it's still room 2 because, and it keeps going up because you've forgotten something else, haven't you?
I think I know what we need to do.
In variables,
Yep. We need to go to change room by negative. Negative 1.
okay.
Now let's stop it and restart it. And I'm just going to play some of my game. I just like playing this
You like
game.
playing this, don't you?
I know.
Just moving it around. But we've got lots more things to get through, so let's not spend too
There's
much
also
time.
enemies
Well, there's lots of
and
things to
other
do.
things in
There we go.
chess.
Now go back.
Let's see if I could do this while holding a key. I always am holding a key.
Brilliant. So that we've got backwards and forwards between our different levels. What are we going to do next? Next, we are going to make this sign. Can you see that funny sign there? We are going to make a welcome sign.
Dad, why did you stop it?
Okay.
It stopped.
Doesn't matter.
I don't like cool.
It stopped because I clicked on the tutorial. Right. What we want to do is make this sign,
Welcome to your adventure.
but we only want this sign in room 1. So this is where we're going to do some conditional code depending on the
But we
variable.
need that in the welcome sign, not play.
That's right. So click on welcome sign to get to welcome sign's code. I'm going to let you do this. You want me to do it? Okay. Well, you tell me what we're doing then.
You do it all.
What's this one?
Everybody knows what that is. That's a when flag is clicked.
And what friend are we going to use?
Forever loop.
You're right. We do the same thing quite a lot here, don't we? When
Forever loop. We just use forever loop for everything.
Then we want to do something if this is room 1. Otherwise, we want to do something else. So what kind of block do we need there?
If else.
That's right. If room is 1, so that's in variables. We're looking for our room variable. And but we also want a conditional because we need to check what value it is. We want an operator that equals operator. So click on the operator, put this in here, and then we take the room variable on the left-hand side. And if room is 1, we want to show the sign. Otherwise,
Hide
we
it.
want to hide the
But
sign.
we also need it to say something.
You want the sign to show a message. Well, let's do this first. Let's see whether this appears in the right place. So you've got a sign in room 1. Just quickly go into room 2 and see if the sign disappears. The sign's gone. Okay, let's go back. Okay. We don't need to spend lots of time on this bit because there's another thing we want it to do. We want it to show a message if...
I want it to say blah, 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 because I don't know what it says.
We want it to say something if the player touches it.
So,
So
can you find the treasure? Because there's a treasure chest.
what we want to do in this code is some more if touching. We want to see if the sign is touching the player. So we'll use another if else.
Why do we need so many if else's? No.
If,
Touching
and then
player.
sensing if we are touching player. That's right. Then we want to say, which is another look. Oh, it's at the top here. Say,
Can you find welcome? Can you find treasure?
welcome.
Can
Can you get to the treasure?
you get to my treasure?
Oh, my treasure. Okay.
Because he wants his treasure back, because he wouldn't be telling us.
So we just put a say block in there and typed a message. It doesn't really matter what that message is. It's just the introduction to the game. We're also, if you're not touching the player, we want to get rid of that message. So we say nothing. That means leaving that empty. I see that Felix has asked a question about stopping it going through the wall. We will go back to the player code in a minute and I'll show you again what that's doing.
You can do
But
another thing
there we
that
go.
might be easier for you.
You could also watch the video later to go over our recap.
Yes.
So the message shows when the player's on there. Okay. Quickly on the player code, just to show you how we stopped it going through the wall and also how we did the doors. They're all in here. So in the player code, this is getting quite long.
Yeah, it's just if else, if else, if else, if else.
The motion code. If the keys are pressed, move in the right directions. And this is if else, so that only one of them takes effect before we then check here. Let's see if I can't really highlight. Oh, I can add a comment.
Come on.
Wall detection code. If we're touching the wall, move back the way we came to stop touching the wall. That's what stops us being able to go through walls.
Oh, so you can do that at the end to tell everybody what you've done.
Yeah, that's the point of comments. So we can also do a comment here if we wanted to. Nobody, you don't need to do this if you're
Go to
following.
next
This is
room.
so we can explain it. Go to next room when you touch the orange door.
Can I move this one?
Yeah.
There.
And you want to add a comment there as well? Right click, add comment, go to previous room, then you touch the orange, yellow door. Oh, you just clicked so I can't type anymore.
Sorry. Okay.
Right,
We've forgotten something. There needs to be one more. Okay? There needs to be white.
let's not add comments here, Alex, because I think we've explained it enough now.
No,
Somebody's
you haven't. You can never explain too much.
Somebody's just asked about the welcome code. So we're back to where we were now on the welcome sign. When we start the game, if we're in room 1, then we show the sign, otherwise we hide it. And if the sign is touching the player, which can only happen if it's showing, then we say, welcome, can you get to my treasure? Else we say nothing, which makes the message go away. Hopefully that's enough recap for everybody. Challenge. We're going to add some treasure for the player to find. We have a treasure chest. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just make it say well done when you hit it to start with. So look, we have a treasure chest, but at the moment the treasure chest is hidden. Let's show it, which you do. Once we've clicked on here, you see the little eyes here.
Ooh, I got 2 little eyes, but one of mine's been cut in half.
So we show the treasure chest, and we are going to decide where it is. It's going to be on the 3rd level. So we click on the stage, go to backdrops, and click on room 3. And now we can move this around to where the treasure is. Where do you want it to be, Alex? Is just there, right? Or do you want to move it? On the floor, further down. Okay, so we just drag it around, put it wherever you like.
You can even put it on the first one.
Okay, we'll go back to the code for this. Now, what we want to do is make this only appear in room 3. Where have we done that before?
I think we've done it in Shine. Daddy, I have got to.
I'm going to show everybody how to do this. This is a clever little trick we found.
I did.
Find the code for the welcome sign.
And then you
Duplicate it by right-clicking and drag it onto the chest.
So that it's like doing that. And if it's not doing that.
Oh, you missed.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I'm so bad at this.
When the chest wobbles. There we go.
Right.
Can I do it?
Yeah, you just do it if I can't do anything, right?
That's still not working. That did work before.
It
is working. We've got lots in there.
Oh, I think it's because it creates it, then it duplicates itself again.
Let's delete all this and show everybody how to do that again. We've got lots of duplicates we've created. Okay. Maybe that wasn't so clever. Right, back to where we were. Starting from here,
we
right-click
the block and
duplicate to create our new copy. You have to put it down, and then you can drag it onto the chest. And now we've got it in the chest. We've also got it here, so we'll delete it here. Lots of right clicks. So this is the code for the chest now. If you don't want to do it that duplicate way, you can just recreate this code.
Yeah, but it's just so much quicker.
So we're doing when the green flag is pressed, forever. And in this case, if the room is 3, we want to show the treasure.
And it wants to say, congrats, you found the treasure. Yay.
And when you do see it, we want it to say, well done.
You shall die now.
Otherwise, we say nothing.
Well
So
done, you shall die.
we have a forever. If room equals 3, show, else hide.
But I need to,
If touching player, say well done. Otherwise, say nothing. Okay.
It's like spin on this spin thing.
So if we move him around,
We've still got half an hour.
get into room 3. Hopefully we'll see our treasure chest. There's our treasure chest. All the way through. Well done.
I want to add something at the end. When it's all finished.
Okay. Hopefully everybody's caught up. Are there any questions? Oh, somebody asking, how did we copy the sign code to the treasure chest?
Right click it, so duplicate and
So what we did, you actually don't need to duplicate, I don't think. You can just drag the whole lot over into the chest. Yeah. So let's delete that. So I'm going to delete the... So all we did from the sign code, took the whole lot and dragged it over onto the chest. That's the quick way to copy it. But then we've changed it, so if room equals 3, we show, otherwise we hide. Everything else, and we change the message.
well done. Finally. And shoot out.
Okay. Now, we're going to have a person.
Ooh. We wanted a person playing.
Oh, yeah, David, you're right. We do need to initialize the backdrop at the start. That is in our player code. So at the player code at the top, we'll switch backdrop to room 1. Right, so the person, this is the next thing we're going to do, our friend over here.
Yes. What should we name person?
We are going to, let's just leave him person. For person, we're going to do another, guess what we're going to do? When the green flag is clicked.
You can eat poo.
No, Alex. We can go to X0, that's right in the middle of the screen, and Y 150. So that's, I think, up top when we do that. Yeah. So the person goes to the top. We want minus 150 to go to the bottom so that it doesn't go over things.
I'm leaving forever.
Then a forever loop. So control forever. And we'll do again another if else. We've used lots of these. If, we'll do some more sensing. If we're touching the player, we want to talk to the player. So if touching player, say, did you know that you can go through the orange and yellow doors? Otherwise, if we're not touching the player, don't say anything. So now, Alex? Come back. Now he tells you that you can go through the orange and yellow doors if you touch him. But he's a bit of a boring character, isn't he? Because he doesn't move.
Moving.
Would you like to make him move?
You should just make him like move around randomly. How do you do that?
So how about when we're not touching him, he's allowed to move. So inside the else, we can move, motion,
One step.
move 1 step.
Oh. And then if on edge,
If on edge, bounce. That's a nice block there because that just changes the direction backwards from whichever way he was facing. So look,
he can hit you.
now he's touching us, so he can't move. But if you move us out of the way,
Oh, you clicked on something.
oh, did I click on something?
That's where it's at. Does this man should have anything to say to me? Oh, you can go through the lower orange doors. Okay, I'll go through. Oh, it's just a hard level. They pass through the walls too, though.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, should we not worry about passing through the walls? I think we only want this person to appear in level 1 because he looks like he's on all of the screens, which is a bit strange, isn't it? Because it's the same person. How's he managing to jump into the different pages?
No, it's because he's in a different dimension.
He's in a different dimension. Is that why he can't hit the walls either?
Dimension.
But how about instead of that, we say he's only in room 1?
I don't like that. I like you being
So we'll do what we did before, which was another if else.
Why do we need a million if else's?
If. No, not in, there we go, it's above it. Oh, no, that's gone in the wrong place. Forever. That's a bit fiddly, you might have to drag it around to get the code blocks in the right place, but what we want is an if else at the beginning. And this will be like we did before. We'll find the room variable. We need an operator first. If room equals 1, then we're going to show, which is in looks. This is very familiar, isn't it, Alex? We've done this before. Otherwise, we're going to hide. So now there's our player.
What do you have to say to me? We can go through those. Okay.
So go through there, and now he disappears.
Where'd he go? Oh yeah, he told me. Can we have it like in a different place, telling us a different thing, like you can take the key? Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh.
Or we could go even more scary.
You know the person is still moving
Because look,
on page 1.
Can you see what we've got here? We have an enemy.
No, Dad, look.
Oh look, he's still moving, isn't he? But he's not visible. Okay. So should we go and do something with an enemy on level 2?
A
On room 2?
frenemy. It's frenemy, okay? It's not an enemy, it's a frenemy.
So
Frenemy.
same thing again, everybody.
Should we
We're
have
going to
this
do
one again?
in events, when the green flag is clicked, what loop we're going to do?
An if else, a forever loop,
A
and
forever
then an
loop.
if else loop.
And then an if else,
loop.
and then our operator.
Then
What
I'm
do you want to
sliding
do?
back in.
Alex, come back, darling. Everybody wants to see your lovely face. If the room equals 2, so this is only going to be on room 2, this enemy. Looks. So if room is 2, show, otherwise hide. So start now. Take him across to room 2. We've now got an enemy. He's not doing anything very interesting. This is easier if you have lots of different blocks of code. So also on the enemy code, when the green flag is clicked, we want a forever loop again. If it touches the player, then that's the end of the game. So we've got to be super scary. If you touch him even once, it's the end of the game. So where's touching? You remember where touching is?
Tension?
Sensing, that's right. If touching player, then stop the game, that's in control. Stop.
But Dad, don't you want him going from side to side? A course like that.
Oh, I think you're right. So at the moment, it's very easy to avoid, isn't he? But you might not be able to get through the door.
It's
So-
probably impossible to get through the door because he's like right
Oh, he's
there.
blocking the whole thing, isn't he? So do this. And now,
Don't we want
Oh,
him to say
it's the end of the
something
game.
like, gotcha? Can we make him say gotcha? Can we make him say gotcha?
oh, we can. But what we're going to do, so if he's touching the player, then he's going to say something, isn't he?
Can we say
Let's
gotcha?
say,
Gotcha.
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 Then stop all. But what we also want him to do is move to make it a little bit easier to get through the door, but harder to avoid him. So one more when the green flag is pressed. Go to his starting location, which is X is 170 and Y is, oh, I just deleted that by pressing the wrong key. Go to 170, 0. Where's that going to be? That's where he starts. And then another forever loop. This is a repeat. We haven't used one of these before. Repeat 130 times. And we're going to move. Change X by -1. So what we're doing is moving across left 130 times. So we start at 170 and we go minus 130 in the end, so we will get to nearly the middle. And then another repeat and go back the other way. Repeat 130 times again. And in motion, change X by +1. So what do you think this is going to do, Alex?
It's going to make him go,
He's going to walk left and right, isn't he? Skip round, in here, and there's an enemy moving left and right.
he's going to get us, he's not going to get us. We're too good for it.
Do you think we can avoid him?
No, he died. It didn't say got you though.
It didn't, did it? Maybe that's because it stops immediately, so you never see it.
Oh, maybe it needs to be wait like 3
Or
seconds.
we can say it for a period of time. So say, gotcha,
Sure.
for 2
2
seconds, and then end the game. Instead of just to say, there we go.
Ah, I said it. Gotcha. But you can escape in that 2 seconds. Can I try that? Can I try escaping?
I think it will still stop, because even if you think you've escaped, it will still stop the game after that 2 seconds.
See, I'm gonna try and get cool somewhere where I can actually go back.
Right, somebody's just said the previous backdrop block doesn't exist. There we go.
Oh, I was
So,
almost gonna get
Kirill, I will just show you where that block is. So in the code where we were doing previous backdrop in player, we've actually used not next backdrop,
We've used
but we used
switch back
backdrop.
to room 3.
So in switch backdrop, there are lots of different options, next and a previous.
And there's also a previous block. We don't want him to hit the orange and go back a block.
Hopefully that helps. So this is what we've done with the doors. So it's a bit funny that Scratch has a next backdrop block, but not a previous backdrop block. But where they are is in the switch backdrop 2 block. Okay, so we've now got an enemy. And the next stage is we're going to make another enemy who appears in room 3. So we'll right click on the enemy and click on duplicate. And that is very handy because it gives us all the same code. So all we've got to do...
But Dad, it's on room 2 there.
I know.
Don't want it to be in room 2.
I know. So we've got to
Where
change
do you
some
want
code,
it
haven't
to
we?
be?
We want it to be in room 3. So if room equals 3,
Are we going to make it be really fast?
we're going to show this.
Are we going to use turbo mode?
We want it to go up and down in the other gap. So let's change to room 3 in our backdrop so we can see. We do that by clicking on the stage and clicking on backdrops and room 3.
No, Dad, that one's going to be there at all times.
And now we want enemy 2.
Dad, there's 2 enemies still.
That's okay, because the first enemy has got the code that makes him only appear in room 2, remember?
Oh, yeah, but it's not activated.
So let's figure out where this is going.
I wanted it to go straight up and like be
Straight up there.
and you
So
trying to get to
our starting position, if we look here, is
0.
X. Should we go with X0, do you think? This is a little bit left than it. X minus 5 looks about right. And Y minus 161. So we'll do in here, when start, we'll go to X minus 5 and Y 160, minus 160.
Hello. I'm probably like,
And again, our forever loop, but we don't want to, at the start, we want to go up,
hello.
don't we?
I want him to go across.
Because that's moving the wrong way at the moment. We want him to, instead of change X, we want to do motion and do a change Y. We want to change Y by +1, up 1, because that's up.
No, we want him to go faster. I want him to go
You want him
fast.
to go faster, you want it to be a bit harder. Okay, well, we can do that.
I want him
But
to
first
go, like,
we'll put
fast.
these change Ys in. So do you want it to be 2 or 3?
3. I want it to be
3 would be
speedy.
super fast, wouldn't it?
No, it's not going to be as fast as us though. It's still going to be slow enough.
So just delete these blocks because they get in the way. So
Okay, can I see? Can I see the steps?
Yeah.
So is
So
it going to
you're
be
gonna
a 6 speedy? I forgot. You get reset.
So move me around.
Okay, what do you say? Okay, I'll do what you say. There's this guy. Will I be able to get past him?
He's
Yes.
quite hard to get past, isn't he?
He's actually easy peasy if you know what you're doing. It's because you wait for him to go by.
Ah, that's clever. Up you go then.
Then you go up and across and you get in. Oh, he's really fast. Look at that. He's really fast. Oh, he goes down all the way.
Do you know why that's going so far?
Why? Because it's going 3 steps.
Because it's going 3 steps each time. So we're actually going,
Well, then I am 1 with the chest.
we're actually going up 130 times 3. So if we started at minus 160, Alex, let's just change this to 160 to make the maths a bit easier. And we're going 3 steps at a time, and we only want to go to
160. I want to go to 160. I want it going up and down.
Can we do 160 divided by 3?
150.
150 might be a bit easier, mightn't it?
Because that's just 15.
So we want to do this 3 times 15 divided by 3?
It's 5.
5. So
We only want
but
this
it's
to be
150,
50.
so we want 50 times, don't we? We could just have tried it out and see what happens. But
I love how all of them start going really fast. I just noticed that they all start going really fast.
if you can get into that room.
I'm gonna get into that room easy peasy. If this guy
Everybody's
was,
welcome to make their own position for that enemy and move it as fast as you like. We're doing some different things. Okay. Across.
oh, I've just realised. Ooh, I just dodged him. Dad, I am one with the chest.
Okay. Brilliant. We've got 9 minutes left. Do you think we've got time for collecting coins?
No.
I think we do.
Okay, then I'm not going to be here.
So a score. What do we need for a score?
A variable.
Another variable, that's right.
Dobby!
Make a variable
To get the good
for all sprites and we'll call it coins.
So the enemy can get coins.
And we've got a coin sprite here.
Can the enemy get coins? When does the enemy could get coins?
Where's the coin? The coin's up here.
That would be funny if all the enemies could get coins.
We want to make this appear in room 1. You remember how to do
And
that?
2, and 3.
No, just in room 1.
I want it appearing in all rooms.
We can only have it in one place for the way this game works. For now. That might be a challenge to extend it. So just remember our codes to make it appear in one room. We'll do another forever loop. Control. If.
Else.
we're-
If else might be becoming our friend in Scratch.
Yeah.
We're
So we do an
using it.
equals operator again. And we take the room. And if it's room 1, we want to go to looks and show. Otherwise we hide. And then when the coin touches the player, remember how we do this? We do a when. This is a slightly different way of doing it. It's just another way you can solve the same problem. You're getting a bit bored now, Alex.
Yes.
We're nearly done. When this is clicked, we're going to wait until we're touching the player. Remember where that is?
Touching player?
Where is that?
Sensing.
That's right. Touching. Wait until touching player. We're going to go into variables to make our coins go up by 1. And then we're going to hide the coin. And we also want to stop this bit running. So the easiest way to do this would be to use the stop block. Instead of stop all, we just stop other scripts in the sprite. That means that when we're back in the room, 1 will stop showing. So now, move around, you hit the coin, you get 1 coin, and it disappears. We can go into this room, but if we come back, the coin's not there anymore. And what happens when we start the game? Oh, we've still got a coin. We forgot to initialize something, didn't we?
We want to make the coins
0.
So how about we just do that here when this is clicked. In variables, we set coins to 0. There we go.
I want it to be able to be multiplayer.
Right. We are just about out of time now. Hopefully everybody's all right. Any final questions before we finish up? If not, there's a whole load of other things to do in this game. I think we will continue and finish off the doors and keys. Are you going away now, Alex? Okay, I'll just tell everybody what we're going to do next. The next time we do this session, But that's it for now. Thank you everybody for taking part. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you one more thing, which is what's happening next time. So it is half term, which means PowerPoint has decided not to show the right slides for me. Which means we won't be having a session next week. Instead, we're going to be back on Friday, the 5th of June. We will probably be continuing with that game. But if you want to get ahead and do it early, you can always run through the tutorial, or you can pick one of the other projects in Code Club if you'd like to do that and do that with your parents. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you again next time.